Hello, and welcome back to another FPL video. Today we're going to see what are my transfer targets for the upcoming Game Week 23. I know that we still haven't seen all of the fixtures in 22, but I wanted to start preparing for the upcoming 23 as I am now going to head after this video and start preparation for the UCL Fantasy Match Day 7. So I wanted to give you some room of thoughts in order to be prepared for the upcoming week and what to be expecting of the transfers. I will go first through the fixture analysis. I will go and check what are the fixtures, how are they looking, and who should we target. And then we're going to go through a list of players and we're going to rank them. So this is a new type of idea where I will rank players that are currently popular and what I think about them and should they be part of your team. Of course, I will not monitor players like Salah, Palmer, and etc. with the transfer targets, as I think they are must-haves in your team, but we'll cover some great options either way. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, don't forget to subscribe. I'm trying to reach my goal of 2.5k. I'm quite far away from it, but with your help, I think I'll be able to do it. You can join the mini league, you can like the video, you can leave down a comment. And now let's go and see how the fixtures are looking. Here is how the fixtures are looking between weeks 23 and 29. Those are the weeks that I want to focus on, because in 29 there are going to be several blanks. We have not yet confirmed those blanks, but by the looks of it, Newcastle is going to be one of the teams blanking. The other is a little bit more difficult to predict. It's either going to be Spurs with Fulham or Liverpool with Aston Villa. So we have to be careful with the players that we pick from those teams. In order not to be careful and not to care about if Liverpool or Spurs reach the next round, I would be doing it probably the free hit. If by any chance Liverpool do not reach the final, I will have only 3 players competing in that fixture and I will probably sell 1 or 2 of them, and yeah, so I will be able to go in Game Week 29 with a good squad, and then I will have preparation for the upcoming weeks. But yeah, let's not take a deeper dive into this. Now we're here to focus on fixture runs and what teams I'm going to follow. So starting with Arsenal, Wolves, City, Leicester, West Ham, Forest, United, Chelsea. That does not scream a lot of clean sheets, but it looks like they can be scoring some goals. Apart from Nottingham Forest, no one else is solid defensively, so I would say that this can be a good run of fixtures from Arsenal forwards. The sad thing is that I don't think they have any options. Then to Aston Villa, West Ham, Wolves, Ipswich, Chelsea, Palace, Brentford and Liverpool. Up until Liverpool, they don't face a solid defense, so if you're looking to invest in a midfielder or an attacker, Aston Villa can be a team to target. Bournemouth, Forest and Liverpool, 2 bad fixtures, but after that Southampton, Wolves, Brighton, Spurs and Brentford. Once again, 2 bad fixtures, but if you're willing to bench a player from Bournemouth or just keep him around, after that is a nice green run. Brentford, Crystal Palace, Spurs, West Ham, Leicester, Everton, Aston Villa and Bournemouth. Not a single good defense in hindsight. Everton are not a good defense anymore in my opinion, so I would say that Brentford players are a good thing to add into your squad. Brighton with a little bit of a mixed fixture run, Everton, Southampton and Fulham in that run, but Forest, City, Chelsea. For Brighton's capabilities, that's a tough fixture run. For Chelsea, it's City, West Ham, Brighton, Aston Villa, Southampton, Leicester and Arsenal. Especially in 27 and 28, it might be a good option to have more players, not only Palmer in your squad, but up until 27 I would not be looking to invest into them. Palace continue their offensive great run with Brentford, United, Everton, Fulham, Aston Villa, Ipswich and Newcastle. Yes, Fulham are solid, Newcastle are solid, but the rest of the teams, I see them conceding a lot of goals. Everton, we see a double up here, so the first part of the transfer targets new section is going to be regarding Everton and Liverpool, because they have double ups. Then we have Fulham, Team United, Newcastle, Forest. I think it's a pretty bad fixture run, so I would not be going to any of those players. But after that, Crystal Palace, Wolves, Brighton, Spurs, it's not looking like an optimal fixture run if you ask me. Ipswich, a hard avoid. Leicester, a hard avoid either way. Liverpool, a very solid team to invest into. City, 5 very hard games for them. 6 if you add Forest, so I would say that this is not going to be a period of time where I would recommend any City players. For Manchester United, it's a bad mix of fixtures, so I will not go there. Newcastle have Southampton and Fulham, City, Forest, Liverpool. I think that it's not that good if you look on paper, but Newcastle, apart from that game from Bournemouth, they have been looking pretty well. So we'll have to see if they reach the final, but that will be known after game week 29, and yeah, we'll take care of that in the future. So Newcastle, I think, are still team to invest into. Forest, Bournemouth, Brighton, Fulham, Newcastle, Arsenal, City, and Ipswich. I don't think it's that easy of a run. Bournemouth, it's a hard team, as we've already seen. Fulham as well, Newcastle, Arsenal, and Manchester City, probably one of the toughest fixture runs out there. Southampton, you have Newcastle, Ipswich, Bournemouth, Brighton. I would avoid Southampton nonetheless. Spurs, you have Leicester, Brentford, United, Ipswich, City, Bournemouth, and Fulham. Up until Bournemouth, they are not facing very solid defenses, so I would be willing to invest there. West Ham are facing Villa, Chelsea, Brentford, and Arsenal, so there is an avoid. After that is Leicester and Fulham, but there is a Newcastle in between, so I would avoid players from them as well. And Wolves for now are facing Arsenal, Aston Villa, Liverpool, Bournemouth, and Fulham, so I would be avoiding their fixtures as well. Probably around game week 28 they will come back as a interesting team to follow. So teams that I would be targeting, probably Arsenal, Aston Villa, Bournemouth, Brentford, Crystal Palace, Everton, Liverpool, Newcastle. Those are the teams that I'm going to pick players. I'm going to go through a lot of popular players that are being brought in, and I will give you my advice on it. So now let's go and see how the new ranking system will go and how I will be ranking those transfers. I hope you enjoy it, and let's have your input for the new format. So here is how to look the new ranking format. I'm going to create tier list with players that are popular and are popular transfer targets, and what my opinion is about them, and how I see them as players to get into your squad. Of course, we will start with a double preparation between Liverpool and Everton. I have brought 19 players of both of those teams, and I will be ranking them in those 5 categories: must have, really good, okay, avoid, and just don't. I think that those categories are fair, and I think that you will enjoy seeing players in different ranking systems regarding my opinion. So we're going to start a player by player. I'm not going to go in any order. I've just downloaded some images, and I'm going to go, as mentioned, player to player. We're starting with Andy Robertson, and he immediately gets into the avoid section. You're going to say, but why? Andy Robertson is very good. He has been solid. Yes, but I think that I don't think it's worth it. He has been not starting every week, and now with rotations with Tsimikas, I just don't think Andy Robertson will be starting in both games, so that will limit your points from the move. Next up is Alexis McAllister. He as well is going into the avoid section just because he is not getting a lot of attacking returns, so I would be not going to invest there. First Everton player on the list is Dwight McNeil. He just don't. Even if he's fit, I think that Everton attack is an avoid. Not only avoid, just don't buy them, because you will lose a lot of transfers and things. So yeah, he is in the just don't section for me. Next up is Endai, again from Everton, another forward and another player that is in the just don't section. I don't think this player will get you any points at all. Next up, we have Szoboszlai. He's the first Liverpool player in the section, just don't. I think that he does not start both of the games. I think he plays in one, Curtis Jones will play in the other. So I think that Szoboszlai will not start. Just McAllister is one step higher because he plays every game, while Szoboszlai, in my opinion, will be not playing. But if I have to reorder them, he is going to be top of the list of the just don't. Now a player that's for sure on a bottom, it's Dominic Calvert-Lewin. This guy can score a goal to save his life, so he is going to remain into that section. Hopefully you agree with me, but he hasn't scored in 16 games, and I don't see him performing very well under David Moyes. Next up we have Diogo Jota, and he's as well in the just don't section. He's even below McNeil. I know that this just don't section is getting pretty stacked up, but promise you the players after that are going to be higher in the structure. But yeah, Diogo Jota, problems with injuries and a lot of shenanigans happening around him, so I would not be going for him. I think that he is not going to play basically any minutes. So yeah, he's in the just don't section. Now we enter some better players, and I think a better player is Trent. He's in the really good section. The rotations scare that we were having while he was not in a particularly good form, I think they're all gone. I think that he is going to be present every week, and for the next two, he just got an 11 pointer against Brentford. I think that he can manage a special 20 pointer in those games, so I think that he is a really good option. Next up, we have Darwin Núñez, the man of the day. I think he's in the okay section. Now with Diogo Jota's injury and now with Darwin getting into form, he might get into some players' minds, but I think there are just better forwards to go for. He's in an okay section if you want to go really differential, but I would probably just stay away from him. Virgil van Dijk, I would put him in the okay section as well, not because that he's not a great player, but because he's too expensive and he's not doing anything in attack. So basically he's a clean sheet machine that is costing 6.4 million, which is not good. I have another defender from Liverpool that is going to go in the really good section just because he is way cheaper. Alisson Becker though enters the really good section as he is the Liverpool keeper. He's starting every week and he's 5.4, and I think he can come clutch in those games as Bournemouth have been a really good side and they have been creating chances, and Everton has been performing well, so I would not say Liverpool will have it easy, but I think that they are really good options to go for, Trent and Alisson. Another left back, another story. I will put him in an avoid section from Liverpool just because Robertson and Tsimikas are equal to me in terms of starts. So yeah, I would be keeping it clear. Next up, we have a player called Cody Gakpo, and he's a really good option. He's below Trent and Alisson for me, but if you're looking for a forward for the double up, he's the way better option compared to Darwin. His minutes are safer, and he has way more trust in the managership than Darwin Núñez. Next up is another player from Everton. Sorry for having so few guys from them, but I think that I would be not interested in buying any of them. But still, Mikulenko I think is the best defender from Everton to own, but he only gets into the okay section because they have been bad. I haven't seen the game on Sunday as I'm recording this video, but I would say that they have not improved defensively under David Moyes compared to Sean Dyche, and they were leaking some goals. So I think that Mikulenko is an option if you're willing to go for the double week, but I would be steering clear, honestly. Next up, another player in the okay section, it is going to be Luis Diaz. He's above Darwin Núñez, but he has not been very good if you ask me. A lot of chances missed, a lot of things. He's just not performing well, and I would be hesitant to go there. I prefer the other three options that are from Liverpool, to be fair. Next up, we have Pickford, another player in the OK section. As mentioned, it's the same with Mikulenko. I just don't think that they will be a solid defensive side. Offensively, you see them in the just don't section. Defensively, they're in the OK section. Next up, we have a defender that I'm going to put in the really good section because of his price. He has been playing well, and Konate can properly replace Van Dijk. Liverpool have not been scoring from set pieces, so that would mean that you can get the clean sheet for cheaper price. So at the end of the day, I think that's the most important thing for the players. Just lock it up, that clean sheet. At the end of the day, Konate for me is the fourth best option here to go for at the end of the day, but yeah, he is still an amazing option to go for. There is only one player in the must-have section, that's Mohamed Salah. I know that he has blanked 2 weeks in a row, but he has been just amazing. And I would say that this guy has been tearing up the Premier League, and I think that triple captain's chips will be flying around for whoever people are not yet activated. And at the end of the day, Salah will hurt a lot of people that do not double captain him, let alone triple captain him. And the last player that I'm going to say is Tarkowski. He's in the avoid section just because I think Mikulenko and Pickford are better. He receives a special shout out because he is good from set pieces, but sadly he is not going to make it into the team. This is the double preparation that I have. Those are the players that are interesting for me. If you ask me, yes, there is Chiesa, yes, there are some other Everton players, but I really don't think they are options. Those are the options. Salah, a must have. Then you can choose two players from the really good section. You can add a spice from the okay section, but I would really focus on the must have and the really good players. No Everton players sadly there, but at the end of the day, I really believe that they're not going to perform. Let's now go and see the transfer targets for Game Week 23 specifically. It's going to be only players, not only players from Liverpool and Everton. They are going to be dropped from that list. I'm going to put down players that are popular and that have been performing well. So let's dive into the list and let's see if we can make some amazing moves there. So now guys, I will be going through the transfer targets that I think that will be good options for Game Week 23 onwards. If you remember the fixture difficulty rating, we're going to base that on that specific piece of information, and I'm going to focus on the next 3 to 4 weeks, as I don't think it's going to be a smart strategy to go for anything else in particular. I'm going to list some of the players that I believe are currently popular and may become popular in the future as well, and I'm going to list them by top priority and by players that you can get a hang of. So we're going to start with an interesting player, and that is Collins from Brentford. I think he's still an option, as they will have a fixture run of the Crystal Palace, Spurs, West Ham, Leicester, Everton fixtures. I think you can get Collins in, you can bench him, and you can rely on him. Next up, you have Fabianski, and I think that with Aston Villa, Chelsea, Brentford and Arsenal coming, he's in the fraud list. I know that he is cheap and reliable, but I'm not going to rely on him. Next up, I have Castan representing the fullbacks of Fulham, and I think that the train has passed for them. Now they have fixtures against Manchester United, Newcastle, Forest. After that, Spurs in the foreseeable future. So I would say the train has passed for the Fulham wingbacks. I'm not putting Robinson and Castan, as I don't think that this is a necessity. But yeah, I would be saying that the train has passed for them. Next up, I have Durant from Aston Villa, and I think that even if the fixtures are good, he's in the fraud list, as I don't know if he or Watkins will be starting. Next up, we have someone of the ranks of Eze, who still has Brentford, Manchester United, Everton, Fulham, Aston Villa, so I think he will be considered a top priority. He has been delivering some goals, he has been delivering some assists, so I would say that he is a very, very solid option. Next up, we have Ola Aina from Nottingham Forest. Even though the fixture run is going for the worst, Bournemouth, Brighton and Fulham, I think that they are still going to keep several clean sheets, and Ola Aina represents the defense of Forest. I'm not going to say that you should pick exactly Aina, but this is a representation of their defense. Next up, we have Phil Foden, and I think the train has passed. Fixtures against Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, Spurs and Forest are not very likable for me, so I will not be going there. Next up, we have Ahmad facing Fulham, Palace, Spurs, Everton, Ipswich, so he is still an option for sure. Anthony Elanga comes next, and I think that the train has passed for him. Even though they can keep a clean sheet, I think that Elanga, if you haven't got him for the Southampton game, you should not get him anymore. Next up is Cunha, Arsenal, Aston Villa, Liverpool, Bournemouth. I think that he's on the fraud watch list now. He has been rumored to, he hasn't played yet against Chelsea, but I'm not going to go there. There is a player called Bruno Fernandes, the captain of Manchester United. I'm hesitant about him because he can be a good option in hard games, but he can be really frustrating in some other. So yeah, I will be keeping him on the hesitant list. Next up is Morgan Rogers, and he is a top priority in my opinion. West Ham, Wolves, Ipswich. A really solid performance is expected from Aston Villa after fighting back from a 2-0 deficit against Arsenal at the Emirates. They managed to bring a really good result, finishing 2-2. Next up is a Bournemouth defender, and Bournemouth has been 10 games in a row without a loss. I'll be putting him in the hesitant place because next two fixtures are Forest and Liverpool, but after that Southampton, Wolves, Brighton, Spurs and Brentford. I would say that, yeah, this is a good fixture run. Brendan Johnson comes after that. He's facing Leicester, Brentford, Manchester United and Ipswich. He's in the hesitant bracket once again, as we will be not knowing what Spurs we get. And for sure, they will get some reinforcement from the winter transfer window. So I think that this is the definition of a hesitant pick. Next up is Kluivert. He just scored a hat-trick and he's still in the hesitant bracket for me, as I think that even on penalties, he is not as exciting as another player from Bournemouth that I want to mention, and that is Semenyo. I think he's still an option. Yes, some of you will say that Semenyo has been playing worse than Kluivert, and you might be correct. But at the end of the day, I feel like Semenyo is just the better player, and if you're looking for someone, I will be going for Semenyo. Next up is Pedro Porro, and I think that he's still an option, but I'm hesitant to go there. And I would say I'm hesitant because they face teams that can score goals such as Brentford, United and City, but they have been performing well against better sides, so I'm really conflicted of what to do exactly. Still, at the end of the day, I would say that hesitancy or not, I would be going for the likes of Pedro Porro. Next up, we have Erling Haaland, and I think the train has passed there. The 6 fixtures that are upcoming, he has not been very good in those fixtures, so I would say it's a no-go there. There is a player called Lewis Hall, and I believe that he's still an option because Newcastle, even though they lost against Bournemouth, I believe that they can return some amazing scores, and he will be involved, just like today when he assisted for the only goal that they've scored. There is one player going in the fraud list, and that's Odegaard. He has not lived up to the hype, and I would say that it's a no-go to go there. Then you have João Pedro facing teams like Everton, Forest, Chelsea, so I would be going it in the train has passed category. Next up, we have Iwobi, who, after an amazing performance in game week 21, proven himself as a fraud in game week 22. There is Gabriel that you've just seen, and I clicked by mistake. I'm hesitant to go there as they have not been playing alright, so he enters the hesitant row. There is Chris Wood, who is still an option in my opinion, and I would say that, yeah, it looks nice for him. There is a player called Mark Gay. He is a top priority if you're looking for a defender from Crystal Palace that is not called Munoz. Speaking of Munoz, I would say that he's a top priority. Crystal Palace players have been returning massively in the last couple of weeks, so I would put them pretty high on the priority list. And let's put Mateta there. It's top priority to go for Palace players if you're not going for Liverpool or for Everton. Of course, they are at the top of the list. Still an option, of course, is Gordon, who has played lively against Bournemouth. He didn't return any points though, but still good option. There is Brian Mbeumo, and you can add Wissa to that list. I'm not adding him as a picture. I know that I've put several players from Crystal Palace, but they operate in different positions, while Mbeumo and Wissa are the same targets for me. If you're looking for a forward, go for Wissa. If you're looking for a midfielder, go for Mbeumo. There is only one player you should pick from them. I believe it's not worth doubling up. Of course, there are players like Watkins, who is in the fraud watch list, and I'll put him next to Duran. I know that he has just scored against Arsenal, but I would say that it's just a no-go there. There is another player that's the top priority, and still, even though he didn't score, Isaac, for me, should be still a top priority. He can score in every week, and he's facing Southampton, so I would say top priority in the forward line if you're looking for someone not from Liverpool. Then we have several more players, such as Nico Jackson. For me, the train has passed. It may become pretty clear soon that he will be back into contention. with the likes of where is Chelsea facing Southampton and Leicester in 27 and 28, but for now he's a no-go for me. Of course, there are other players. As you can see, there are not any keepers apart from Fabianski. So I would like to add Sales. I think that even though they are facing tougher positions, I think he's still an option if you're willing to go there. Vardio, I would say that he's a fraud. For the money that you're spending, I think he gets into the fraud list. Of course, I can add more Newcastle players, more Spurs players, more Brentford players, but you get the idea of these transfer targets, in my opinion. I'm putting several players from one team, just showcase, for example, Duran and Watkins, that they're both frauds, and I will not go there. If it's a top priority like Mbumo, I think Wissa you can get for yourself. You can go for any one of the Crystal Palace players. They have been performing well, and if their game against Newcastle is postponed, you just activate a free hit in 29 and you have them stacked up for the double in 33, where it will be important to have a lot of players from the following teams that are going to double up. So I would say that you should go there. I think that's a good transfer list to start with. You had the transfer list from Liverpool, so of course first focus on the Liverpool players as they're facing Ipswich, and after that it's Bournemouth, Everton and Wolves. I don't think it gets better than that, but if you're already prepared, here is a list for you that you should follow, and it should do the job for you, at least in my humble opinion. This is it, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the new format. I will be trying to do it every Saturday after the games, or every Friday whenever the fixture starts and when the game week starts, to prepare a list of transfer targets for the upcoming week. I think that it's not a bad idea to prepare it like that. Hopefully you enjoyed them being a tier list. Let me leave down your opinion, what you think about it. Before we go, I want to give a special shout out to the members: Seth, Foreign with 25 gifted, Zach, Oscar, Papas, Kauser with already 40 gifted subs, and Hem, a newly joined member. Thanks so much, guys. If you want to support me financially, you can follow the links down in the description and you will be becoming a member. Here are the levels, here are the prices. So yeah, special shout out to them. If you're not able to support me financially, there is no issue about that. You can subscribe, you can like the video, and hopefully you help me grow. Expect a lot more UCL fantasy coming in the upcoming days, as I will be focusing on March day 7, but let's not forget about FPL. You can watch that video several times. If you want to hear my opinion, ask them down in the comment section. Yeah, do all those great stuff. But for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye.